Beautiful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As we were saying, this thing used to be a lot easier when we used to do this thing without much care for it. Back in the days, now we've got studio, we've got equipment. Adi's got the beautiful microphone there. He's got the Ferrari jersey on. Things become a lot more serious and complicated. It's like running a whole business now, Adi.
I wouldn't normally wear this jacket, but it did come with the car and they put it in the cubby hole. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to insult the guy that gave it to me. I'll wear it once in a while.
And they forced it and they threatened sue unless you're in it every time that they see you. So you just kept it on for life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's part of the club, you know?
You got to do what you got to do, Adi, right? First world problems.
It's fine. I don't mind. I don't mind. And how are you? You know, we've got interesting topics tonight that's gonna it might ruffle a couple of feathers, but if you're not ruffling feathers, you're a people pleaser. That's even worse.
Yeah, I thought, you know what, let's step this up because we've been all cute and fluffy and we've kept it together. We haven't actually addressed certain issues and certain real life experiences, that we've learned, such as the one that I want to speak about. And it's always been a big thing for me is this whole concept of integrity. Integrity always in how you conduct yourself amongst friendships, relationships, in business, and the thing is that you will often get called the bad guy, like I am. We all know what my reputation is, like you need people like me that want Al Pacino scene, because without people like me, you wouldn't be able to point your fingers and say, there's the bad guy, while you live in your facade perfect world. And, inevitably at the beginning of every person that I have ever known that's ever had a biased opinion about me, it has always been exactly that, the biased opinion, because I followed a moral compass of integrity where I did my absolute best to distance myself from that person's behavior. And I always remain very vigilant to distancing myself from certain characteristic traits, regardless of what they're going to say about you, and I just want to throw this question at you. Are you more bothered that when you know somebody is not of a good character, hanging around with them to allow them to influence you and your conduct? Because, guys, we're not kids anymore. Don't say that people can't influence you. Anybody that spends time with another person inevitably picks up traits and gets influenced. So, inevitably, you are bound to get influenced by certain people. So, when you have this decision to make, do you hang around that certain characteristic trait that you know that goes against your integrity? Or do you do your best to distance yourself from that person, knowing that there will be consequences to it and there will be people that will have opinions of the situation? What is the good one here? Distance yourself so you maintain integrity, or hang around and not have the problems that come with getting away from certain people that you can see are not of good character?
So I don't care what people say about what I do. It's more important for me to safeguard myself and my family. Okay? And that means making quick, important decisions. Very much so about the people that I hang around with. And if I find that somebody that we're hanging around with, so if we can remove ourselves from the situation, I will, quite quickly. It's difficult, sometimes you go to somebody for lunch, there's somebody there that doesn't fit into my vision of the way things need to be done. and then it's just, then I'll ask the kids to go play somewhere else in the house, and I'll hang around. I'm not going to make best friends with the person. But if it's a situation where we can leave, or I just find that there's somebody hanging around that is dirty in their mind and in the way that they speak, as far as my version of dirty. I'm not saying anything
Your
bad about that
your
person. It's just my
perspective,
version. It's my
your
perspective. It's my
perspective, your
stuff. It's my
perspective
baggage.
based
My
on
vision of the world.
your vision of the world and what you've learned. Correct.
That's it.
You
So
you've got me. You've got my support there. Yeah.
yeah, I don't. I personally don't mind what people think about me, as long as I know that my truth shines. That I have my own integrity. So I'm definitely not going to hang around with people that I don't feel complement the direction that I'm taking my life. So it goes into a topic of being a people pleaser. So the best piece of advice you will ever get in your life is the moment that you decide not to be a people pleaser is the moment that your life will change for the better.
The moment you unlock your true potential, in my opinion, it's when you become who you are supposed to be, because your version of behavioral pattern is not based on the outside version of who you're supposed to be. So you become who you were supposed to be and not who you're meant to be. And this is a very deep philosophical sentence. Sometimes in life, you have got to do your best to be who you are supposed to be and not who you're meant to be. Because
Well, the only way that
people
you can
will,
do that, but the only way that you can do that is by not having the pressure to please other people.
correct, and not
So
having that concern of people's opinions, as you said, doesn't bother you.
exactly. Exactly. So give
But
me
you
the sentence. Give me the sentence that sums this up.
give you the sentence that sums this up. No, but I still want to talk about this because I've got a few more things in this one. Because also this aspect of people's opinions of you in business do cost you. They do cost you. I've had it. I've had situations where I've done my utmost best to break away from certain people that deceived me and acted of good character at the beginning. But as time went on, you started seeing that they're the kind of people that only talk about other people. They're the kind of people that are all about drama. They're the kind of people that certain business ethics do not apply to. And you do your utmost best to break away from them. And you know the beauty about these people? These are the people that are the first to go and tell everybody about how they were wronged by you because you distanced yourself from them. And you know what I often find? I find two things wrong in that. I find that you're an idiot if you go and tell other people that you were wronged because you've now shown the world that you're an actual victim and how there is smoke where there was fire. And as much as people entertain you at the beginning, saying, oh no, oh my God, Arash did my friend wrong in business or whatever, eventually that facade fades off. Because I've had people that had opinions about me, and now after time, the truth has come out and they've seen those people that I distanced myself and I warned them about for who they really are. They're all lined up now to work with me. All of them have eventually come back saying, oh no, sorry, yes, you they'll never admit it. Because remember, the characteristic trait is they don't want to seem weak by saying, oh, no, maybe we did listen to that guy about you. But they kind of somehow always find their way back to you. That's the first most important thing that I find, that if you do have to break away from people and if it does affect your relationship with other people, inevitably it will come back. The truth will come out, and whatever you called that person on, other people will see it. And eventually, those same people that maybe a month, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, inevitably they will come back and they will say, oh, you know what? We're back. Let's just say it like that. They'll never admit that you were right about that guy. That's the first aspect. Second aspect, anyone that I have ever, and even in situations that have had nothing to do with me, and hear me out, bear with me on this one now, Adi, right? You've sat in situations where you've heard people have opinions about other people in business. Any intelligent human being that has more than 5 brain cells will work it out that business is about money. If two people worked together to make money and they were capable of making money, something must have really, really driven that other person to such an extent that they just did not even want to make money with you anymore. Because now we're not even talking about ethics and morals and all of that. We're talking on a business scheme. Two people do business together, they make lots of money together. A couple of months later, you hear the one partner wants nothing to do with the other. And what you often hear is the one will always have opinions of the one that did initiate the distance. And what I often find is that people are not really listening in those conversations when the person is speaking bad of the other person, because what they're fundamentally trying to admit is I drove this guy to insanity, that even we were making money together, he wants nothing to do with me. That's essentially the second thing that I've learned. And now the third one, I'm going to ask you a beautiful question. And this happened to me 14 years ago in my first business when I had a gas depot. And it was a gas company and we were doing LPG bottles. And I didn't have much money. And I had a partner that promised more than he should have. And I did everything to break away from him. And many years later, stories came out of him even going to jail and being exactly what I told the world that he was. But this story is not even about him. This story is about one of my staff members in this business. I had a staff member. His name was Lucky. And I'll say that because many years later, I confronted him. We became friends. We sorted it all out. Lucky was stealing from the business. He was stealing, flat out stealing. He was skimming off the top. He was cooking the numbers. He was juking the books, however you want to word it. But he was my best salesman. Lucky was the golden goose that was making 10 times more money than anybody else in that operation. But he was still taking me. And I sat and for many nights, I thought to myself, this is your money-making machine. But he's still stealing from you. He's still being deceitful. Even though the money that he is stealing is even better with him being here than him not here. Because what he's even stealing is better than all 10 of these other idiots put together. And what Lucky is pulling off. What do you do? What do you do in a situation like that? Before I tell you what I did, what I had to do.
That's a great question, and it reminds me of a story. There was a guy that was sitting with some friends watching soccer. There was quite a good game last night. England played Congo. It's actually quite a riveting game. And this guy's getting SMSs in on his phone for his credit card, like spending, like notifications of money getting spent. And keeps on like ringing, keeps on buzzing. And his friend says to him, like, what's going on there? He says, it's actually my credit card notifications. My wife is overseas. And every time the credit card goes off, I get a notification. So then his friend says to him, it's so crazy. Like, I thought you told me the other day that your wife is overseas, but that the credit card got stolen. So I said, no, it's true. So he says, I don't understand what you're saying to me. You said the credit card was stolen from your wife, but now you're saying that the notifications are still going off. Like, what are you talking about? You don't understand. The guy that stole it from my wife is spending less than my wife,
My wife would
So it's
spend.
fine. So I don't mind. That's what I think. I think life is about way ups. If the oak is making 50x and he's stealing 2x, then it's fine.
You're still
It doesn't really
48x
matter.
up.
Yeah, he's
And
still
you're
winning. He's
48,
still winning by 48. He's still winning
and
by 48.
your 48 is still better than the 48 the other 10 are bringing in.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
So I'll,
so the reality is that if I had to be quite honest with myself, the honest truth is, if you find that someone's stealing from you, it doesn't matter how much they're making, they must go. That's the honest answer. Okay.
that's
So when it comes to integrity, you see, the truth is that having somebody like that around, just integrity in general, when somebody has a black mark on their name that you've worked out, you obviously cannot allow anybody else that interacts with you to know that you're still working with this person. Because the problem is they're going to spot the gap. I mean, if I had to be like completely honest about the whole situation, they're going to spot the gap. They're going to get hold of somebody else. That other person's going to think that you still trust this person. They could start working together. Something could happen, and
the
then
small
they
becomes
steal
the
from the
big.
other person. Hmm?
The small becomes the big because he saw what he can do with the small. The
Yeah,
dog,
exactly.
the dog saw that it can get away with biting the hand that feeds it.
Exactly. Exactly. I'll
I'll
tell you
tell you.
something
I'll
else about. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no, tell me. You tell me. I want to tell you what I
Okay.
did in this situation, but I want you to wrap it up.
Yeah.
You tell me yours.
So earlier you were talking about people speaking badly about you, and this is something that fits into the category of market perception. Ultimately, friends perception, market perception. What I've generally found over the years is that our biggest competitors, who we have subsequently beaten locally, and now taking market share away from them in some of the other territories, Australia, Asia, Middle East, etc. But locally, we've completely beaten them, in my opinion. Is that they would badmouth us to the people that work in their business. They're so small. They're just a little idiotic business. In fact, on a little side note, the best thing that ever happened to us was that our competitors completely underestimated us. It was, if they hadn't underestimated us, maybe their effort level to beat us would have been much bigger. Gave us that breathing room to squeeze them out slowly and surely, quite quickly though, but over time. So the people that they were speaking badly to about us, i.e., either their clients or their employees, if they believed them, then their ability to discern, there's that word again, their ability to discern between somebody who's talking cuck and the reality is not good. Okay. You should always try to understand who's giving you that bad news. You know, do they have a sort of a skewed eye in what they're saying? Is it true, or are they just trying to make you look bad? Anybody that comes to me and gives me bad news about somebody else, I have to try and understand why they're even saying this. Is it true? Is it nonsense? Are they trying to skew my opinion? Probably.
Where's the
So it's
fire
probably
to the
not true.
smoke?
Not always.
Where's the
No, not
fire?
always. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think people are crooked. I think people are crooked, and people will tell a story because they're just crooked. Don't forget, you still come from that old school chivalry type upbringing where you're not going to just talk nonsense unless there is some truth to it. But don't forget that now, it's probably 6 out of 10 people don't carry that class. They're actually just crooked. And I think you're giving people too much credit for their own integrity. I think it's very valiant that you have so much integrity. But make no mistake, a lot of people out there do not have that. They will spin a story. There's no smoke where there's fire. They will just speak badly about you. And that is why market perception is actually not your, you can, the only thing you can do is do the best you can do. But the market perceptions, it's only so much you can do because people are trying to spin a story. And that's why, and on another little side note, what people think is market perception because someone has said something, that's just one person's opinion. The market probably has 0.0001% knowledge of what that person is saying. The market perception's probably amazing of you, but now because this one person walks into the room and says, I heard this and that, it's in 99% of the cases it's nonsense. That is not the market perception of you. That's just one little person's skewed opinion of either something that they heard from another person that has a skewed opinion. And that's why I believe we need to be a shield when we hear this news about us. Because if we allow that information, in fact, there's actually a chapter in my book, believe it or not, about how to beat like negative news about you, not to get disheartened, is that if you hear this information about you and you take everything at face value and you absorb it, it's going to eat you up. But you need to allow bad news to bounce off you. It's nonsense. It must just bounce off you. It mustn't affect you. Because chances are, in fact, it's nonsense. Don't let it absorb and grip you. Because bad news must bounce off you. It's nonsense. We're warriors. We don't worry about the fact that someone else thinks that we make terrible steak. It's nonsense. We eat steak raw anyway. They're talking cuck.
It's that saying of the lion doesn't turn around for every dog that barks, right?
Exactly. That's the whole point.
You see, but now remember this. We are older gentlemen of, let's give our age away, of 40 plus. In our 20s, we also weren't like this. You can say whatever you want to say about me. Now, if you come to me and say you heard a thing about me, I will say fantastic. I agree, and here's my input on it. And I wish you and the clown and whichever clown had that opinion and you joining his circus, I wish you all the best. And I agree. I fully agree. And as you said in your business, and I also had the same thing in my business last year, and it only came out recently. Last year, I had a problem in business because somebody decided to deceive me. And it only recently came out what the actual deception was. And at the time that the news broke, do you know how in my favor this deception was? They literally pulled a maneuver exactly like you said, that they were saying something here that let me get away with what was really happening over here. And I managed to take phenomenal market share and do amazing because what they were trying to taint was all that them and their people, like you said, it's always about them and their people and them spinning their stories amongst their own circus. The clown and their opinion amongst their own circus. And it always opens you up to, all right, if everybody is so busy with this opinion happening here, this is about 1% of the world. There's a 99% of the world here that you can go and take care of that completely opens you up. And from what you said and from what's happened to me last year as well is that we both had the same experience. That bad opinion of us worked out in our favor. And it was phenomenal. Now, going back to my lucky story. Now, I'm going to amaze you and blow your mind some more with the lucky story. Lucky should have been fired on the first day that I knew that the man was stealing, regardless of how much the man was making. But I thought, once in my life, because this was my first business, right? It was the first time that I actually had captain of the ship and I was in charge here. And I thought, let's do a little experiment. Lucky, you are doing so phenomenal. I want to increase your take home, and I want to increase your salary and what you make. Under the test that I now will drive this individual to break away from the idea of he needs to steal to make the money he needs because his salary will cover him for the money that he needs. And this is where, as you said, if the dog bites once, the dog will bite twice. Because the only thing that taught Lucky was to go and write up his expenses more, that the man needed to steal more. Because when you elevated him from the level of stealing here, that he was only interested in stealing enough for clothes, and when you bought him to this level of he's now got money to buy himself a nice fancy car, his only intent became level 3 of now the man needed to buy himself an M5. And I remember in 2013 having an M5 and this guy showing up to work in an M5, which was a better car than my car. This is my staff member. Only showed me that when the dog bites, the dog does not stop biting, my brother. Trust me,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dog will never stop biting, no matter what you try and do. And if you try to promote that dog, those teeth only get sharper.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. I hear you. Okay. We're going to look at one more thing that you had mentioned could be of interest.
Oh,
This
this
is
was a
what we
funny. This
call,
was a funny topic.
yeah.
Yeah.
I changed the wording a little bit, not to be derogatory towards certain people, but the ultimate topic is the culture of entitlement. And this is where I changed the wording. Why some people look for someone else to provide their future while others create their own. And it's really about the entitlement of some people where they going to just try and lean on successful people, feed off successful people, live the sort of Instagram life and not try to make it for themselves. And this is the culture of entitlement, is this is who I am, this is what I look like, this is what I can give you in the world.
And I want
And
my
if you're going to
reward
give
now.
it, yeah, I want my reward for just
Now, upfront.
looking like
I
this.
want my
So,
I want my reward upfront. And I was thinking between when I sent you that message and even today, and the core of this for the viewers is that a friend of mine came to me and said he cannot even believe what's happening with the dating scene. As you said, let's keep this non-derogatory, that women are now asking for things upfront. Because back in the days, we've all known, okay, let's be honest. Men, women, everybody can be a gold digger. This term gold digger can exist in everybody because certain men will only go and have certain friends because there's a certain financial value. And this has been a thing, and especially in the corporate world, it's been there for hundreds of years. It was even probably worse in the 70s, 60s, where women married for money and men only hang around certain individuals for status and climbing up the corporate ladder. But there was a time where people put in the effort to be gold diggers. People played the long term game. Women got the man to fall in love with them first, and then she knew that he was hooked and the man was successful and he's going to provide the life. The same with men in the corporate world. They knew to become best friends with the CEO of the company would only get them promoted as they go because obviously their best friend is the boss. Obviously, the boss is going to look out for his buddies. But the world is not like that anymore. Women are asking up front. I want everything up front, and I want to tell you up front before I give you anything what I want, and here's my list of demands. And the same fundamental thing that's happened with men, because quite a few people have disappointed me where I have actually voluntarily done my best to involve them in a good lifestyle that I live. Because I live a good lifestyle, and many people around me, I have seen see me wearing nice clothes, nice shoes, nice things. And I've given certain people that I knew couldn't get those things without me giving it to them. And they never really showed that true appreciation and gratitude for it and giving them the opportunities. And the only thing they could say is, but it's about me, and here's my list of things I want. So, my question is, and this is a very good question that I was thinking about between when I sent you this message about let's talk about this topic today till today, last night till today. Has the world of con gone up? Is the world become more deceitful and scammy and conman and malicious, and people no longer can be trusted, that people want their things up front so that they don't play the long game? Because if they play the long game and they get nothing, then it was a loss. And this also happens in business, because I remember when I started off business, you would order things and there was a concept of COD. You'd bring me the product, I will get the product, and I will give you money when I see the product. But people don't even play that game anymore in business. Everyone's talking of deposits, or you must pay up front. So what is it? It's become, in the business world, in the dating world, in the friendship world, that people have become just less trustworthy, that you want to protect yourself in the long run by asking for your stuff up front. And you don't want to feel like you went on a few dates. Let's say, like in my friend's case, he went on a few dates with this girl and the girl never got anything, and he got another girlfriend and moved on, and she lost. But she also didn't lose. This is also the beauty of it, is because you also got the few dates, and whatever came of the few dates, you scored the dates and you had fun and you had a good experience. But what has it become? People are less trustworthy, or that people are entitled and they want now.
So I'll tell you what I think. I think that where we're at as a society, whether it's dating or whether it's business, is that the world has become a little bit more hardcore. Back in the day, good family values, integrity, people were just a little bit more homely. People were watching Buck Rogers. People were watching Simpsons. The world was a little bit less dangerous. Okay. And so what has happened is, and it comes down to who's influencing society. The problem is that those influencing society, it's in everybody's faces. You look at the girls that seem to have it all. There's money getting thrown around. So you look on the other side, the business people, they seem to be a lot more in your face. So whether it's the girls looking up or the guys looking up, they can see that these sort of high-powered people are just more there. People know what they want. When it comes to business, it's more hardcore. People are screwing each other over more than they used to back in the day. So when it comes so the fact that the influences are more hardcore, it means that people are being influenced to be more hardcore. What that means in simple terms is that when it comes to the dating scene, the girls are not scared to say, if you want this, I'll give you this, but I need you to go shopping with me. And if you don't want to give it to me, then get lost, someone else will. It's very transactional, it's more hardcore. And it's not that it's specifically a negative, it's because the guys that have the cash, or whoever the girls that have the cash that are looking for the guys that are ready to throw it around, they are okay with that transactional situation. They are more hardcore. They are saying, I don't care about you and us being in a long-term relationship. I just want to get some, and I'm happy to buy you the shoes. I'm happy to just be your sugar daddy. I don't care. I am as hardcore. I don't mind the fact that you're just here for the week and you're going to come and go. I'm okay from a transaction perspective. So the world has become more hardcore. It's very transactional. Doesn't mean that it's a negative thing. It just means that for those that are looking for that, it's more available. So what it means again, here's that word discernment. If you are a guy that has the cash or a girl that has the cash and you are looking for a partner, like a longer term partner, it's very important that when you pick up that the girl is very transactional, then you need to understand she's not for me. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the mother of my kids. I'm looking for a homemaker. I'm
Unless you
looking
are,
if
unless you also there, therefore, what do
if
you say?
that's
I'm
what you're
here
looking
for a
for.
good time, not a long time. I'm here for a good time
If you're just
because
here
I'm in
for a good
Thailand.
time, then it's fine. Then it's absolutely fine. It's very transactional. It's not it's not like I'm gonna woo you, I'm gonna date you, we're gonna go on long walks at the zoo. No, it's sort of, you know, I want you to send me an Uber Black or you're not getting any action tonight. Straight up. It's hardcore, bro. It's hardcore. Then on the business side, people have been messed around. The handshake, it's not for for a lot of people. It's just not professional enough. People are gonna people are happy. There's gunners out there. People are ready to screw you over. So you need to ask
Not
for a
even
deposit.
MOUs are good enough anymore, my brother. We spoke about what happened with me last year. Not even MOUs, signed memorandums of understanding, are good enough anymore. People will still sign an MOU and take advantage of you, as happened to me. You know this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just get a little bit
It's
closer to
just
your mic
about
because
handshakes.
I can't hear you 100%. Just a little bit, not as
Can
loud
you
as
hear
it
me?
was. Much better, much better. Okay. So what I'm saying is
I
that it
played
is
with something and I
transaction.
broke my AirPod.
No problem. So it's transactional. It is more hardcore. So what that means, coming back to the first point we made right at the beginning, knowing that the world is more transactional means that you have to discern between the people that you have around you because it is more hardcore. Is that if you allow these sorts of people to come into your circle of friends that are going to say things like, if you want to get with me, honey, you're going to have to take me to Gucci. If you want that kind of lady hanging around with your decent group of friends, she's going to influence them negatively because people are going to be like, whoa, what's going on here? If you're going to bring business people into the circle that are going to be more hardcore and are going to not have the integrity that you hold so dear, they are going to influence people negatively in your circles. Discernment is the key here. So, while I did see that WhatsApp screenshot that you sent me of your friend, hey bro, I can't believe how the dating scene is. It believe it, boy. Believe it. The dating scene is hardcore. It is what it is.
Believe me.
No point in saying like, where's it all gone out the window? Where are all the decent chicks? I'll tell you where the decent chicks are. Decent chicks are in church, boy. Decent chicks are in the synagogue. Decent chicks are in the mosque, like praying. If you want a decent girl, you're not going to find her on a dating app. You might get lucky, but chances are you're not. The decent girls are you got to join like a yoga class, like hot yoga. You want to find a decent girl, go join a hot yoga class, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, this is the truth. Adi, I've
Can't
even
hear you. You're
seen
on mute.
friends.
Can't hear you at all.
Am I? Can you not hear
Can't
me at all?
can't
What's
hear you.
happened to me?
Do you need to just change at the
Wow.
bottom where your audio is feeding off the
Uh
microphone?
huh.
Now I can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
I can. Bit
I
of an
have no
echo.
idea what I've done with my settings. Adi, I have seen situations where friends have come, and it's happened to me. Friends have come with girls, and the girl has assessed in that group who the one with money and who the one with generosity is. And they have even switched who they were going for originally. I have seen this. The girl will show up with friend A one day and she will see that she can't get what she wants from friend A. And then you will hear that she's now talking to friend B, who you just happen to know is the playboy in the group. And he's got no problem because he's MO from beginning till end is that no problem, I will give you and you will give me. We're on a transactional basis. And the girl ended up losing both. And it's the same in business. We're using the girl concept. It's just easier to explain it in that terms, but it's also the same in business where you've seen people do a deal with one person and they saw, wait a minute, maybe the other guy that I met with Adi would be better to work with than Adi. And the guy never got anywhere with either. Ended up losing both sides. It's the same as the clown that signed the MOU with me last year and still took advantage and made stories and oh god, you don't understand this person. He just was a clown. He's lost face on all fronts. The people that introduced us, the other people that were supposed to have been brought into the transaction, and he's still got the attitude. And this is, I think, where we go to this entitlement, because that word entitlement, even after you have bombed out, people still go to sleep comfortably because they feel that what they did was right, because they were owed it. And if I couldn't get what I was entitled to from the person, and I tried to get it from other people, and we go back to that whole thing about that people will speak, the person will still sleep comfortably at night because their entitlement kicked in that, hey, I did what I did because I was owed it. And you know what? Those group of guys are actually the bad guys because none of them took me to Louis Vuitton because I was owed Louis Vuitton. And like I said, let's call a spade a spade. Gold diggers were not invented last year or last week. Gold diggers were invented when the Spartans were climbing mountains and the Romans were conquering countries. Women knew exactly who is the man, who is the alpha man, who is the runt of the litter that needs to be the one that I should focus on. And it was in relationships, in businessship, even in generals, in everything. Who is the person that I'm willing to dedicate my time to? But people have just gotten sloppy and lazy. And I know that you say the world is more hardcore because people have been taken advantage of. But it's just sloppy and lazy to demand upfront these days, Adi. It's just so lazy. Make some effort. Get the man to fall in love with you, and then you can have the private jets to Las Vegas every week. But get him hooked, sister. Get him hooked. Don't ask for the jet up front. People have just become sloppy.
Got an echo, so I'm going
I've
to
got
let
an
you
echo,
finish
so I'm
us
going to
off.
let you finish us off.
No, I've said all I need to say, and I don't know what's going on with my mic. I'm having a Reza moment where everything's going wrong on my front. But I managed to get my camera working on my phone, so I've got it on better quality. I think that's about it. Hey? It's just about today we decided we're going to talk some controversial stuff. Integrity will always remain. You've got to do what is honorable, regardless of what other people's opinions are of you and the situation. And inevitably, the truth will get out, and people will come back and they will call you the one that they should have listened to. It's happened to me a few times. So do the honorable thing. It will eventually, like they said, the two things that will, what is it? What's the saying? Two things that will always come out is the truth and something else. Two things that will always come out. Two things that will always come out. What is that saying? The sun and the truth. Two things in life that will always come out will be the sun and the truth. Do what is right by your levels of integrity always, regardless of what other people's opinions are going to be of you. And this entitlement, it's just sloppy, it's just lazy. I'm okay with people taking advantage of me, but at least play the long game. Play the long game. My grandfather, women took advantage of him, and so did men, but they played the long game. Don't take advantage of people based on your entitlement because you believe you are owed things and be sloppy about it. Even if you want to be entitled, which we don't implore, but at least play the long game and stop being sloppy. That's as far as I'm going to go with tonight because I can see some shots are going to be fired tomorrow for these comments. Beautiful, Adi, my brother. I'll catch you next week.
See you next time, San Francisco.
So like and subscribe, as Adi loves to say. See you next time. Cheers, my brother. I'll catch you later. Cheers, bye.